went right through both UMG and kind of the closed qualifiers for Nerd Street for Immortals, which is they basically made over half there, but there were struggle games. You see a lot of 13-9, 13-10s where it was a lot of anything could happen. And I guess that's what Neptune said at the end, is there is that possibility that anything happens.
For sure. And against Envy, they're so strong. I mean, you need the way you want to beat them, or the way you want to try to beat them from all of the demos that I've reviewed, is you need to find ways when you're playing defense to make them uncomfortable in the early round. Finding small tactical plays to get that early pick, to take away some early map control, whether that's B main, whether that's gelato. You know, there's lots of different ways to do it, but we need to see that level of aggression and assertion from Immortals to really put Envy back on the back foot, that is.
Do see some frenzies. And a few ghosts purchased here. Slow to start things off. They're just smoking some entryways to see what utility they can get out of each other's hands here to start these rounds. This is interesting. I figured Envy would push forward a little bit towards mid. FNS gates the back of mid, but obviously that's kind of our default that we expect to see. Maybe they don't want to hit it up just yet. So here, taking it very slow, relying on that first shot to be what sparks this round.
Yeah, this is really cool too, because Envy are going to get those slight edges, so they're going to control both of the ult orbs at just off the get-go, which is a beautiful way to start off, because that's, you know, every small edge is gonna be important, and that run it back too, which is, you know, Food was the one on the Phoenix that picked that up for Envy, is going to be quite nice. And you have some baiting here from Finesse, trying to get some information, see who's playing where, but at the same time, Paranoia is sent through as the A attack comes in, and Food's going to kick things off with the frag onto jcStani, and position is gained. jmoh is trying to hold on to Tree, but this is going to be tough, and oh, he did not expect that from crashies.
The rotation here is great. I thought we were going to see him go mid, but mummAy is going to choose not to do that. He wants to stay with FNS. They lost a few too many in sight, and now they have to grab that spike back. 12 seconds on the round as the frenzy's being fired. mummAy doing what he can, just unraveling, and he goes down to shot up. Too many to take down. That's the first round for Immortals here, and they got smiles on their face to start this one off in the lead.
Yeah, and it was quite interesting the way that Envy approached that. You know, they start off slow, they make sure they isolate away any potential shenanigans, then they pick up the ult orbs to get those edges, then they set it up so there's so little time that the pressure from Finesse on B really makes it look like it's going to be commitment there, and the timing towards the A push was that they would catch Immortals just rotating off, so just coming out position. That was kind of the idea, but Immortals, obviously, great recovery, and now they're in the driver's seat. However, we are going to have that force coming in, some stingers from Envy, so this is possibly quite a dangerous round, and that's a good start there, as crashies loses quite a bit of health and armor.
Always messes with your mantle when you get just nabbed by a shock dart in the middle of the round, or beginning, I should say, and your armor just goes away. 3 now on Cat. I think they saw a few more feet. You're going to get calls there. Genghsta waiting just next to Switch, but which way does he look? He knows one's passed, so he's calmed that through, but now I think he's just in a tight spot. Drops kaboose, looks for another one, as now they reset on the side of Immortals. Doing a great job at sourcing where Envy is without giving Envy too much. It's only been a 1-for-1 right now, but I gotta say Envy is grabbing quite a bit of ground, DDK.
And this is something that Envy will love to do. They'll, again, huge amount of threat and presence created. They'll play off of the info. They'll try to figure out if they can beat you on timings, on rotations, and that's exactly what's happening.
And here it is.
Equals B the whole time, and in they go. That's not a bad start for Neptune. Cannot follow it up with the double, though.
Slow take. We're watching shot up now as he waits for somebody to come to the Dark Shroud. What will happen? He knows that actually came from quite close, so he can call that Food was at least right next to that spawn door. The retake's going to be tried. This is a tough one. Knowing you have to come into sight, both sides watch. Great drone to set them up to get in. You are going to see mummAy in the back of Boathouse, and he may be the last one to have a say about this, as now Immortals is trying the entry.
Looking very dangerous shot up there coming through with that Reyna. Oh, the bullets are not going to do it there. mummAy at the back of the site with that Sheriff in hand is good to go. And Envy, man, they're so dangerous. Just off of that force buy. Even though it's a force buy, they find a way to just beat you on the rotations, get better positions, and win out that way. And that's the danger. That's the thing we saw in Icebox 2, where they were able to separate themselves as a team from Immortals, saying, look at this, like, we can mid-round like no other. How are you going to answer that?
In that moment, they definitely explode, and they all are reading each other. A lot of times, not even that it's a trust issue, but having that extra trust, knowing an angle's watched, you can watch your certain spot. It flows so much better, and ShotUp was looking for that Sheriff. We know him so well couldn't find one there as Food answers, and it looks like it's going to be a quick B hit. Spectre's flying through, and Food does not have a stop button on this one.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I love the coordination there. The paranoia through the site and then the curveball to follow it as well. The double flash is very hard to deal with. And it just looks so polished right now from Envy, just very drilled. You can clearly see that this is one of the faster paces that they have to their anti-ecos. You know, at the pro level, teams will have a few set ways they'll drill their anti-ecos between playing that slower, more loose opening versus tighter, quicker openings, and that looks beautiful there from Envy. So the whole time so far, they've looked quite polished, and Immortals were still looking for them to see a way to get an edge. And as I mentioned, that early round aggression is really the best way to do it against Envy, but it's not going to be easy.
Bonus, bonus, bonus. Is that what we're seeing here? Yeah, a few guns. Spectres mostly. Crashies heading over to that Bulldog. And we see Immortals grabbing what they can here, looking to change the pace of this game in their favor. Genghsta just trying to get some early knowledge. And they're not going to know too much. That could have been one. I think they might have heard 2 shots. A Bulldog Spectre shot there, so giving a little bit more than they saw. And a quick hit again. Looks like Envy wants to restart that aggression fuse, and they light it here, trying to get into A. A quick shot and a duck by Caboose as he gets himself in a hiding spot. And now Immortals set up for the retake.
Yeah, that tree control super important here. jcStani will go down too many angles to look at at once. And Envy are all over this, positioning so strong, and Immortals didn't have any ground to fight for. Neptune will try to do what he can, but he will be silenced by Caboose. And oh my goodness, this is one of those problems, Riff, when you play Envy, because we saw it there. They always leave themselves an opening. What if that initial entry towards A didn't go well? Well, Finesse is lurking towards mid, and he's lurking towards B, which means that Finesse can always allow the team to just stop, and he can pick up the information, he can hear rotations, he can get a feeling, use his game sense, make the call if they commit or not, and that time they committed very quickly, and Immortals, they never knew what was gonna. They didn't know if that was gonna be the case or not. You can never know against Envy.
It was an absolute statement round, DDK. Like seeing mummAy step out to get the kill. It was weapons for Immortals. They had full weapons and they were pushing each other out of sight. Door was closing behind, still getting the frags. They wanted to make sure Immortals knew Envy is feeling it right now. Flawless, presented by Prime Gaming. Beautiful round there by Envy to bring that one in and to push towards Cat. Quick dismiss, and Caboose wants more. He goes back for a jmoh, maybe even a third. Oh, but he could be seen, and it's going to be the right click coming in that takes him down. A quick trade at tree. And it looks like it is Envy who have planted themselves as the advantage in this round. And ShotUp will do what he can again with the Sheriff. This always excites me. But again, cast your curse, gets himself shot by an operator. mummAy takes him down, and it's scary to see mummAy with that again as well. It means the econ for Envy is looking great.
Yeah, and the thing here is that what Immortals have to do, I was talking about it earlier, you have to take the early round aggression, but to expand on to why that's important against Envy, we've been highlighting why Envy's so good. It's that mid-round potential. How FNS stays lurking. If you actually win position early, if you get a pick early, you force them to not have the ability to play mid-round as effectively, and they're more committed in their movements. So it's a lot easier for you to react as the defenders. Right. That's why you need that early control and early pick, but we haven't seen that play from Immortals. This is the first time I think we might be seeing more aggression. It's just this operator angle towards mid link there from jmoh. Not to find anything just yet. Envy slow the pace, but they're playing that B main control, looking to possibly go for that B split or the burst. We'll have to see how they develop this. They've got also crashes towards Gelato, making sure that that is under control too. And if there's any push, he'll know about it.
A little jump peek, a little jump peek. Yes. Maybe. Oh, they do see him. jmoh, too patient to make the shot. Oh, and he will find it onto Food as many times as he gave him the jiggle. jmoh gets it, so it's going to be a quick kill to start off here. Nice job, Immortals. Now, the reset, I like that. Back up, give yourself a different position. Usually, we actually will see a Jett on different maps that it allows completely site reposition. But here, mid is the best advantage for that to happen on. I'm ready to see Immortals start to take a few more of these. Oh, my word, no! Oh, God. that's me. Caster Curse again. But crashies really coming up great on that one. DDK, it just seems like even though Immortals will have an answer to what Envy's doing, Envy quickly answers back perfectly to that attack.
Neptune at the back of the side here, looking to do what he can with the Vandal in hand. They jump across to challenge. Only the one, though. Genghsta able to find some space to work with, but not the frag, unfortunately. The blind comes through, the paranoia, jcStani and Genghsta working hand in hand to dominate this defense. And the spike defuse comes through. Immortals, off the back of just some individual brilliance, will pick up a round, but hey, that early advantage almost, well, that kind of got returned. You know, we saw some great shock darts there from crashies to finish off jmoh, and I have to re-emphasize, just look at what happened once that kill went down from jmoh. Immortals, sorry, Envy, they all group up and they hit a site. They can't play that spread out style anymore.
You're absolutely right. We look at the past few rounds they were able to win, and the ones they kind of walked through, and one was a gun round. They hit A. They had that eco, they went to B. Those were fast, and then they went to the slow mid round, trying to switch it up. Immortals has been able to kind of figure that out. And now Envy doesn't have as much up their sleeve with seeing those strats. And I think Immortals can do this on defense to get a few more. I think it'll be necessary as they go on to that attack side, because Envy will be aggressive on defense. It is their attack side as well. So this is really going to count if Immortals can start to pick more up here. Great shot by Food to take down Neptune as he tries to get some free info on B. But we know nothing is free.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a difficult thing to work around. We talked about how it can be difficult for the attackers to be down a player and the concessions you have to make.
Yeah.
But in terms of the defense, it's, you know, you have to start either getting information or stacking towards one side of the map and gonna make one of those calls. And hey, it looks like actually Genghsta's able to find the kill onto Food through that Phoenix wall and the smoke that was laid down there, and that's going to help enormously. 45 seconds to go. I think some noise now heard from Immortals. They can safely gamble. It's going to be the A site. Beautiful off angle there from jmoh, and this is now a very bad look coming in onto this A site for Envy. Out come the daggers. jmoh looking above the smokes with the updraft, and it doesn't look like Envy have a way in.
30 seconds left.
That was great. Definitely a needed round. jmoh going for the operator, throwing into that econ this hard while the rounds have gone towards Envy. So that had to be, again, a statement round, this time from Immortals. jcStani was able to step up the round before. Now it could be jmoh. A few more daggers. He gets those reset, and the Blade Storm's ready. mummAy with his signature operator alone in sight.
This is surely not a possibility for mummAy. He picks off one, but there's three all coming from spawn. This operator is really going to have to sing in this position. Will he be able to even reset? They're all bunched up at the moment, looking to trade the kill as mummAy goes for the next one. Jumps across, shot up goes down. Nice headshot comes through, looks for a trade out to a Vandal or a Phantom. Can't find one. Switches out for that classic. It's going to have to be the pistol, but jcStani holds it true. There's the spike can be diffused. Beautiful stuff there, but it was a good effort. He made it look scary, but the team play again is pretty damn good.
Absolutely, and again, the big pickup there, the operator dropped to jmoh. They get away with that round. The econ's pretty steady still, and that's what you need. All those little bits and pieces together when Envy is going to be dropping your teammates, taking armor away each round. You need what you can get, and great job there by Immortals to go in as a team. The retake was pretty clear that they could take down mummAy, but man, does he make it look scary.
So not a bad scoreline, all things considered for Immortals here. 3 against 4, just one away. Making a play for B main control. This is important. It's actually something we haven't seen from Envy, just piling everybody through B main, wanting to go for a contact burst, but this was the right round for Immortals for themselves to go for some more control towards B main. That's going to stifle the efforts here from Envy. So now, again, we talked about this before, Envy in that 4 versus 5 early on. How is the response for them? They're all grouped up, they've got to reset out, and they're going for that mid-rotation. This is something that Immortals should be able to read.
Yeah, we see a lot of the videos about FNS getting some kills or someone getting kills, and then Envy rotates, but this is now how the mind of FNS works when Envy is down. What do they have to do? It seems like patience is on the menu for a bit, as they get the utility and necessary call here coming in from jmoh that there's going to be some love towards tree, and we get an Empress out from Caboose. How will Envy make their way towards A? It's known now, but can they get past the defensive Immortals?
It's definitely looking difficult, but Caboose is a scary prospect, charging through with that Empress, able to take down jcStani. picks up that heal. And this is very scary for jmoh. Able to hold on to that position. Doesn't really have to be challenged all too hard right now for Envy's sake. But here comes jmoh once again. Great flick onto mummAy, and now there might be a way back in.
Oh my god, jmoh, the champion of this one. Can they make it happen? FNS behind the gen. That's going to be a tough shot for an operator, and jmoh goes down. Low HP for both. Cypher on Cypher action. Both are wearing their cap, so it's going to be easy to shoot the other one, and it's going to be the right-click jumper from FNS. The Red Bull clutch coming in to take the round.
I love the move to switch for the Classic. That's so smart, knowing that he can break the crosshair placement by getting that jump. He knows his opponent is weak. Switching to the Classic there is so smart. Obviously low on bullets, but he had enough if he wanted to go for the rifle finish. But that Classic, it's damn good, and FNS knows it. Great 4K from him. And that is a very sorry sight for Immortals. jmoh made that look super doable.
Man, that was comms too, probably. Hey, he's low, did good damage. All right, sweet, jump right click. Feels good with that knowledge. Let's see a little bit of B work here. It does seem like you get that mummAy and FNS combination to start things off. The controller with the knowledge with the in-game leader, so the smokes can go where they need right away. But also mummAy gets that knowledge. That's why some people thought it would be Cypher for, hard for a Cypher to be the in-game leader, because the in-game leader is usually on the forefront with the team, telling them what they're seeing and what to do next in the site. But seeing FNS be able to do this from a faraway position is even that much more grand, so it's awesome to watch. mummAy picking up a kill with the Phantom there on shot up, and it looks like pretty low HP for Envy here as they reconsider once again what's going to happen here coming up in round 9.
Yeah, this is a great start in this round for Immortals, not only getting the initial pick onto crashies towards Gelato, but also having some control over towards that B main position, making keeping Envy honest in their aggression there. Gave Envy a position where they didn't have too much to work with, and they're in a 3 versus 4, so we can't count them out. Great timing found from jmoh. That little peek there finds Caboose in mid. That certainly will give them some information. Is it a lurk though, or was it going to be a reset back to B? Those are the two options, and it's going to be Envy heading up on that A side. 2 versus 4 now. The spike is being planted on Gen, but this is a lot to deal with. But Finesse, he's shown time and again, he's good enough for it.
What a shot. Really just eagle eye when he's trying to protect these situations, or can catch you just off guard. Seems like Finesse really has a great opportunity in those situations. And the 3v2 is slow. Waiting for the dart, so they're waiting for that countdown coming in here from Genghsta. Now they're going to be trying to take the site. Oh my word, picture perfect from Envy as they get the defense down one after the other in just a split second. 6-3 now as we move to round 10. See what the buys are. 11,000 on the side of Immortals, so they should be able to get some weapons in hand if they don't drop a few of those eco buys.
Oh my god, mummAy.
Bam, bam.
It's nuts.
The thing is it's an op or a Phantom, and he can switch so seamlessly as well and just keep everything flowing.
That is the main reason why pros pick the Phantom over the Vandal. Spots like that, it's just, as you say, it's so much more consistent and easier to do that with the Phantom. And this is looking pretty scary. The challenge through to Gelato, the perfect weapon for that though. And Immortals on that save round buy. It's just some Sheriffs and a Frenzy, so they wanted to get that aggression going. Didn't work out. Envy set themselves up to deal with early round aggression, and they will not be caught off guard. But hey man, if you've got the Sheriff shots in the back here, jcStani threatening another one, but he gets himself out of dodge.
There's shot up. You got to watch when he's pulling that revolver out. Could be your face getting blown off, and great opening kills here to start off. Even to hurt Envy's economy on a save round. Neptune drops one as well. crashies falls, and now a 3v2 here for Immortals.
Yeah, this is a little bit scary. And Genghsta, might have time to get this one, but Finesse finds him. And that's going to allow clearance on the A side for the spike to go down, and the pressure, despite Immortals having that 3 versus 2 numbers advantage, the pressure's really on them though. Not a lot of utility to get back in on top of this one, and now the numbers have been equalized.
Yep.
Finesse playing from A mains picked up that Phantom.
Just crouch hopping. Crouch, crouch. Ooh. Wants to go fast, but wants to be quiet. push out. So this is going to be the Frenzy and the Vandal. Vandal's still up. It's a possibility. Shot up with one. Dismiss over the spike. Plenty of time left. He goes through the... Oh. I was going to say he goes for the press, but Food says there's no fake. There's no time for you to do anything. I only have to step 5 times. And that's Food's round right there. What a pickup.
Yeah, that's really smart from Food to read that shot up is going to tap the spike straight away. Because, as we can see, there is a moment there where if you find that timing, they're helpless. And normally that timing is kind of difficult to find. So, insane game sense from Food.
Really playing it well. The Food and crashies pickup was huge. And we actually see, you know, it being difficult as they were leaving as well on from their team of T1, bringing up here, and then you see Immortals losing a few of theirs. So as I said before, both teams kind of rebuilding, but as we saw FNS saying, crashies and Food instantly fit something that they need, and aggression and fraggers, and man, have they just popped off in that sense since they joined the team.
jmoh, he's been great at hitting his shots, but it's just the opportunities have been limited. Nice updraft though, with the daggers, able to find Caboose. Still a couple players left here in this 2v2. The TP to get out of that position under the rafters, that's really smart. Now even has a lineup with the pings there, and well, mummAy's going to be able to finish things off. Beautiful use of the Omen TP, that's so awesome to see.
Last round in the hash.
A lot of times it's getting closer. Everybody's waiting until the last moment so they can kind of trick, maybe be seen as mummAy was in the site, and then he's completely gone. So you're wasting that time of being looked at. Where could he have gone? That's when Food executes. Really just creating enough chaos there, and it's exactly what you do as Omen, right? You create the paranoia, and it's allowed Food to come through. See what they can do now coming into the last round of the first half, 8-3. And at the attack side here for Envy has just been aggressive.
One of the problems here for Immortals is that they've not really committed to any of these aggressions on B main very heavily or A main. They're trying to get it done with too few resources, and Genghsta's going to be forced into the open. He gets a dink, but they are getting annihilated here. It's looking like Envy are going to pick up an easy final round on the first half as Immortals are struggling. And it's really just a victory lap in this first half, I feel like. See what Shot can do. He's able to pick off one, but it's few and far between the successes here for Immortals.
Really neat how Food and mummAy, when they are next to each other, anytime you see mummAy bringing out a smoke, or even I think an enemy smoke, I'd say you see Food throw his molly right into that. And it's pretty normal to block an archway or whatever, but it plays on the tendency of some people would still walk through that, or some people's gonna already be in it, right? So they are forced to then be displaced, and they may be coming through exactly as we saw there, and they were able to take him out coming through the molly. So really neat little combo they always make sure to have there, and that's the kind of things you want to look for with pros. Like, that's not a strat or anything that they run, but what they do to make two abilities so much more effective, like the flash and dash, which we've had forever, right? A flash from anybody and a dash from Jett to follow up. It's the little things that are really neat that I think teams can still min-max on, and I don't think we've seen all of it, right?
Yeah, definitely, and maybe we never will. There's going to be so much variance in
Very true.
what you can do in this game. That's what's going to make it so beautiful in this being a pro setting. And well, on the second half, on the pistol, because that B main control working out for Envy. And wow, so stunning there. The Frenzy's not supposed to look that good from that range, but Food somehow shows that it can, and Finesse finds a spike here. Can't really get too much worse for Immortals, but jmoh's got something to say about it. Out comes the knife, dashing through the smoke.
I love it.
Resetting the situation. There's a chance here, Riv, for jmoh.
There absolutely is. Oh my gosh, the aggression on this round put such a smile on my face. Everybody getting pushed to the limits. See an empty clip forced into a knife. Not much you could do about that, and you gotta respect the play. Now, FNS. Ooh. Can he actually work under this? Does he activate it looking straight down? Okay, so he sees him, I think, for just a moment. Yep. And they start to move closer to each other. Cat and mouse here, DDK. Is just going to be a shot necessary to make it happen for FNS. jmoh looking for that shot to knock the brim off of FNS, and it's not going to happen as the round almost comes to a close.
Yeah, Finesse playing the off angle there really well, and then the slight jiggles, knowing his opponent's close. He's trying to predict how his opponent's pre-aiming to make sure his off angle stays good. And you can actually see here in this replay from jmoh's perspective, look at when he finally goes to pre-aim just as Finesse peaks.
30 seconds.
Look how far away it is. So that's just showing you how well FNS understands how to play angles, how to play against the way that the pros mechanics work.
Yeah, making them second guess all the time while you get to lock your crosshair right on their head as they come around the corner. See what happens here in the second one. Big round. That was, you know, to talk about it, 1v1 on the pistol. In the pistol round usually folds over into a few more DDK, so we could see Envy trying to go in hard here. FNS with a Spectre on logs. He's going to be taken down. Now the guns get traded over a bit. Will this make the difference? 2v3, but that's 3 very healthy people on Envy about to retake B.
Yeah, the Sova makes such a big difference too. The shock darts, but more importantly, the recon can be super important. Clearing out all those positions except, you know, that back side, the boathouse. And jcStani with that Spectre making it look kind of good here now for Immortals. This paranoia comes through. Oh, the lineup though for Genghsta! And he'll annihilate crashies and mummAy.
Ooh!
They sacrificed for nothing.
Playzilla, thrifty coming out. Beautifully done there. DDK, I think this is what we kind of been hinting for towards for Immortals on these rounds, right? They're going to know what to do even if you think they're behind, right? They still have those surprise rounds where you can't just let them go. You can't say, hey, it's an eco, we'll go farm the frags and be done. That's not the way.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with Immortals and Envy. I think that's really highlighted is that Immortals have really phenomenal players. It's just that Envy are so good at consistently getting better positions. That tends to be why they come out top. But here we go. A lot more aggression towards his A-main position. They don't have to commit to this. But oh, Caboose, this could be huge if they do not know that he's here. A freebie there for Caboose off the Sheriff. He doesn't find a follow-up, though. That's unfortunate for him, but he's causing problems. He's causing them to go back to A-main to find him, and eventually he gets pinched, but they had to give up space on the site to do that. Will that pay off for Envy? Looks like it won't. Immortals still in a strong position.
What a start to the round. And it looks like Immortals will still find the kills they need, as you were saying. I absolutely love seeing that as well, how Caboose played it, dismissing off to the side, but not realizing there would still be the flank. And I think that speaks a bit to Immortals. We saw them working as quite a big bunch, obviously more so on eco rounds, but not as much flanking. And their flanking actually paid off huge, because you were stating the point that Caboose can now just create so much opportunity back there. He creates so much aggression without even having to peek. So if we didn't see Neptune there very quick, that round could have been much different. So great job by Immortals to really keep themselves on their toes, and on Caboose for getting that flank on.
Yeah, and the question now for Envy is if they can find a way to just keep the pressure and keep the damage going and get that little bit of pressure, the distraction. And it's so funny, showed up, he actually anticipated that Caboose was going to be in that cubby, but
yeah,
still the frag comes through. Brilliant shot there.
All right, minimap tells us no committal just yet, but it looks like the spike will end over towards A. And how does that happen? First time Immortals have really tried to push up into mid here to start to gain info. But again, towards that A site, tree just seems to be easily taken. It's a lot of forward room. It's where utility can be used, and trades like that can happen to understand what utility you're taking out on the other side. And the fact that they still have, I was going to say, their Sova left means they can search a bit more, but he gets taken down by FNS. And jmoh answers. We'll see how this one ends out. 2v3. Envy tries to get back in.
Such great row from Envy here. So many things that they're doing really well. We'll go into a moment. Once again, we're seeing this in so many spots where jmoh, again, we can see how good he is as a player, but he's always having to fight from just such desperate positions. And he's going to get shot straight in the back. Thrifty by Playzilla coming through there for Envy once again. As I think the first thing to note is that initial exchange and B main. That's going to happen sometimes. Sometimes, you know, you're just going to lose a player, you know, to that Sheriff headshot. It's just going to happen. But I loved how Finesse was playing inside the dark cover in mid with his cam above the dark cover, spotting into short. So he's able to see if there's any lurk. He knows it's a timing where they're rotating off. So he can either punish a lurk with that cam, burst out the dark cover, or he can tell his entire team exactly what's happening, even though he doesn't see anything. But that's because he understands how the game of deduction works.
You mentioned it before, it might happen again. Actually, Food's going to put a stop to it. I was going to say they may be going to grab alt orb since they do have the A-B split once again. No run-it-back kills there as Neptune keeps himself decently healthy. And now it's just going to be util until they can find out what's going on. Spike is still very far behind, and that's what they're waiting for. You can almost be ready for Envy to push out of one of these side parts near the sites. Whether it's kaboose, whether it's crashies, or it was Food that time. And now it looks like it's going to be that B-take. Bomb has been committed. Good push towards mid, though. We'll see what can happen.
Ooh, this is bad, though, for Immortals. They don't have the positioning right now coming through to the site. They had to make a call whether to force it, and they're going to double back. And you can see that jmoh's position for the split is going to service as a lurk and catch the rotation as it comes back to the A site. So that's going to actually work out for Immortals. Great call to abandon that B push, rotate back to A, and Envy have a lot of work to do. But they have good positions still. Caboose is on him. Oh, that's the spike as well, Rib. Problems again for Immortals.
Oh, just swinging away, FNS goes down, and this was a really big play by jmoh. We haven't, as I said, seen too much mid play. He creeps up, gets a kill in market, and Immortals is starting to use more of the map. Let's see if they can get this one in their favor. Towards screens, the fake with the dash, and he stays on heaven. jmoh picks up the 3K to make it a little bit safer. Envy's one away from getting that game point round and adding that much more pressure onto Ascent and the series, as Envy took map 1 already.
And one thing to note, too, is that with that run it back from Food from B main, he actually had a couple opportunities to get a kill. And I feel like, onto Neptune, I think it was. And I think normally he's probably getting that kill. So the fact that he also, that's a situation where they still have advantage, even though he didn't. But then he gets picked by pushing. So Envy gave Immortals an opportunity there. The question is, can Immortals create their own opportunities off of their defaults? That still remains to be seen. That question is there for Immortals to answer.
Got the Empress for shot up. Could make something happen there. We all know it's harder to shoot purple Reyna. It's just the way that life is. Ultimate for FNS, so you can get that neural uplink if they actually need it. Usually they're already on the site once the kills start coming through. crashies does have Hunter's Fury. And this is more of an A play now coming in from the Immortal side. They have been splitting it up a little bit, maybe to work the orbs. Genghsta, nice shot onto kaboose, and that's a very big kill to go down first. And Neptune's going to answer with kill number 2. Immortals working as a squad up tree this time, and it really sends Envy for a loop.
Yeah, 3 versus 5 retake. Probably not, given the value that they have in their hands currently. So looking to save those weapons. And it's going to be interesting to see if Immortals can continue their success. I think, again, one of the dangerous things about Envy, especially given the buffer of rounds that they currently have, is you're going to see aggressions from them. And sometimes it's not going to go according to plan, such as the aggression from Food. But if it doesn't go according to plan, whereby in that case he didn't get the kill, there'll still follow-up opportunities for them to have advantage. Let's say he doesn't go aggressive in B main and doesn't die. They create this situation where Immortals still have to get control of B main back, because otherwise Envy have too great a picture of information as to what Immortals are doing. So just that mere presence that you take, you're forcing your opponents to slow down their own round so that they can create a situation where they control more of the map again. So Envy, I would expect to see gelato takes. I would expect to see more B main play from them. We'll have to see what they've got in the tank here to put the aggression onto Immortals in the early phases. Yeah,
and this is going to be one of those rounds where a kind of econ change comes into play. There's not going to be enough to buy the other teammates. You don't get a bunch of money if you're alive once that round ends and the spike was planted. So the defenders on Envy's side going to be towards their Sheriff. Still an operator on mummAy, though, so maybe they can protect him a little bit with some close defense. Immortals looking good. They had a lot of money to spend, which means they'll have a bit more for next round, even if this goes awry. And a few more ultimates to work with this time as they try their hand at B. Obviously, we see jmoh in a cat and mouse game over at A. Oh, no, actually, just this is their Omen. I thought jcStani for a second was about to fight him, but they're on the same team, DDK. So they're just working the combo still of having a bit of chaos. jcStani and jmoh able to smoke and control over here before they rejoin with the team. And maybe the team joins with them, because it seems like A has been what they like to work through tree and through main.
Yeah, they did a good job in contesting the B main control. It was not retaken by Envy, so perfect there from Immortals in their opening, slowing things down. Kaboose forced back by the recon. Dark cover there to cover tree, allows their entry. They're split onto the A site, looking coordinated, looking good here for Immortals. 2 openings. Caboose there tries to find a headshot with the Sheriff, unable to do so. Great look here so far from Immortals, but there is still some life yet in Envy as Finesse able to take down jmoh. No, surely not. Almost with a follow-up there as well onto shot up. That was close.
Tough, yeah, definitely where they want to save the operator here. You don't want to give that up to jmoh. He's been pretty on fire as well here. jcStani's been stepping up for Immortals. The door behind mummAy now. Gonna have to take that out if he gets pressured. Looks like they may do it slowly. jcStani tries his hand, gets the shot. That means they move a little bit closer and gain some ground, forcing the ult out of mummAy now.
My ultimate is not ready.
Yeah.
So it's
That's an op.
to see whether or not, sorry to cut you off, Rev.
No, you're good.
It's going to be interesting to see whether or not this approach is going to be consistent, because what we saw the last round is something we've been saying is important. We get that early info play in the main in particular, that little battle with the Cypher cams and all of that, to make sure that you can have information there. And Immortals were able to get rid of that opportunity for Envy. But Envy didn't have much to work with. In the next big buy rounds, that's where Immortals are going to have to prove that they're able to deal with those when Envy are in a position to invest more. So, once again, it's not the greatest investment in the world for Envy. Crashies and food without really anything here, but they will stack up there towards A main to go for an early control play and see if it works out for them.
Oh my word. The defense they have over here. Envy is just ready with the family photo to, through the legs, nutmegs him with a sonar dart. That's the first I've ever seen. See what they can get put up here. The 3v3 fire through the smoke as they, obviously we see Immortals start to back off and reset their defense. That was pretty aggressive for them to start. And the other side of the map will always have moving around Neptune with one other. Always has a partner with him. This time it's going to be Genghsta, so they can keep the intel. And I like the slow work. It seems like they always keep the spike with majority to start, and then majority will just end where they feel is they're comfortable or they've sourced information of what utility they saw coming out, right? So hopefully not seeing X or Sova darts when they go into this site, and they should be right.
The great push here. Finesse always trying to juke his way around. He's going to find a flank timing. Unbelievable stuff there from Finesse, able to find two. That could make all the difference. Hunter's Fury sent all the way to that side alley, causing additional problems, slowing down the plant of the spike. And that is really problematic. Now jcStani from A main, he's got to do a lot for his team here because they only otherwise have side control. This is going to... Oh, and now he's smoked off. This is looking very grim, Riv.
Shot up with Empress right there. jcStani patiently waiting. Beautiful job by Shot Up. They're not going to know where he dismisses to Stani and Shot Up! Take out 4 immediately! What a round coming in. We see this happening from Envy just a few ago. We see Thrifties coming in as they trade back and forth with who can be better. Immortals shows up with a beautiful 4K across 2 members in a split second. Let's see it again here. Oh, my word.
That is what you want to see. And I mean, that's what we have been seeing, Of course, there hasn't been that many opportunities for some of these clutch moments, but...
Real pressure, yep.
Man, these players have it in them to go absolutely nuts. And you can see Finesse there really disappointed with that, knew that they had a huge advantage.
Man, you should...
Envy, their buys have not been good. Some of those saves, maybe that's been problematic for them.
Should definitely not see that happen, but more power to Immortals coming up huge here. jcStani once again, I said it before, but he's starting to show up here. And Shot Up as well puts his name in that hat for these last rounds that could keep Immortals in the series in first strike. It is a single elimination best of 3. Icebox was our first map, and what we determined to be an attempt to kind of balance the odds between Envy's aggression, their ability to stay so cool, calm, and collected, and maybe they could have diced that up between Icebox. Envy took the map. Immortals here and now fighting back with Envy against the ropes. See if they can keep this going.
It's kind of interesting because we mentioned the fact that save kind of made the buys weird for Envy, and they had these like situations where 2 players were on pistols a couple times, and it honestly felt like that was the huge problem for Envy, because they were not really able to play their game, and they had to play more passively, which gave Immortals much more of a run of the map, able to default more effectively, and not have to worry about some of these heavier takes towards B main or Gelato, whatever it might be from Envy. Yep. So this needs to, like, Envy must be sweating bullets at this point. They've got to make this round where it all starts to fit together for them again. And this initial play around A main is going to be important here. Immortals looking to win that orb. They're also looking, of course, to win this position, create more presence, maybe some rotations in Immortals, in the the Envy defense. But so far, Envy are pretty happy with their positioning, and they're not budging at all.
I'm pretty sure they just heard crashies destroy the door. And they're like, you know what? We don't like what they might have planned for that door being destroyed and us not being able to block off a re-entry into the site. So obviously we see working toward B once again for Immortals. They have had a great take here. High Lear blocks pretty much garage and anybody down that highway side, and they're going to make it in. Back of the site is going to be shot up in another, and he finds food. Shot up so quickly into the site here with jcStani, but jmoh is going to be the next one on the board for this round, and they're looking to tie it up at 11-11 here. Envy quickly going into save mode for this one, knowing their econ is not good enough to keep going at 5 members of Immortals.
And this is a beautiful look from Immortals, suddenly going from strength to strength, really feeling that momentum.
It really is.
And Envy haven't been able to make some of their early round dominance pan out for them. So I'm wondering if they're going to try to show a different look right now, because Immortals are kind of getting everything that they want at the beginning of the round. They're getting to set up quite nicely. We saw that Envy was suffering in this round in particular from playing passively. They didn't have the info with that passive approach to know exactly what their opponents were doing, where they were going, and that just allows that more kind of drilled element of Immortals to really take over and for them to just really relax into that practice that they've been, hopefully rigorously going through over the last couple of weeks in preparation for this event. And 11-11 it is, and we've got a game on our hands, and I want a third map. Riv.
Hey, look at that. Yeah, me too. Honestly, me too. 22-16 for Shot Up. The guy who had to get replaced due to an emergency throughout the qualifiers. Immortal still makes it in, and he still comes in, not skipping a beat. This is somebody who we also saw quite a few replays from on the social media due to his plays and just being able to hold clutches or just wow you completely. So awesome to see that talent here joining in. And as I said, jmoh and jcStani super stepping up here as the utility from Genghsta and Neptune continue to feed them and help them in the site with aggression. Let's see if they can keep it going, DDK. Like you said, they are finally able to find what's working for them, and we want a third map.
Well, what's interesting in this round in particular for me is that Envy are holding on to that B main control. They kind of saw that it was a bit of a fake in terms of the pressure there, because the Lear came through, but there was never a peak with it, which tells them quite a lot. So they've all rotated towards the A side. The rotation's coming in. They hear that drone, and with the other information they have that we just talked about, they know it has to be a commitment towards this A site. Everybody from A main. Now, this is not yet committed. It could be reset out of, but there comes the dash. They're going to try to make this one work, and mummAy through the cage is doing the damage. Headshots left and right, and there's nothing left of it. Immortals, unbelievable defense from Envy. They've read it in the nick of time.
The most dead to rights position I've ever seen, and mummAy is alive? He's literally looked behind him and he's like, oh crap, the door's closed. I guess there's only a W to press, and he pressed W. Oh my word.
That is really crazy. I mean, the insane thing is that they got the expectation as to that play because of the hearing the drone. Given everything else they'd heard on the map, the time of the round, what's been happening so far in this half, they knew when they heard that drone what was going to happen. Yeah. And this round, Immortals need to do a better job around B main. They cannot allow Envy to have such control of this, because that's what really hurt them in the previous round. Oh.
Tag gets him right in the heel. mummAy goes down. That is a gigantic frag to start off the first blood of this possible end around. Caboose says no. We'll answer back with a little bit better. The collateral going in with the Phantom from B main, and it looks like the team of Immortals wants revenge.
this is going to be hard to fight back from. So they have a minute to try to do so. It's 3 versus 4, so it could be worse for Immortals, and we've seen the skill on the team. jmoh is still alive. He's been doing some insane things.
Yeah.
However, kaboose there with the Leer. That's going to slow them down, and they may overlook the position of Finesse here in this cubby. There's the trade, but they can't afford to be traded. They don't have the numbers to play the trade game, and Genghsta is all alone against 3, and it's going to be a hell of a job to make this one work. Turns from the flash, but Food will take him down regardless. 13-11, great recovery from Envy. It looked a little bit grim for a while there, Riv, but
it did.
Envy, they come back.
Envy come back. Immortals bleed here on our first series of First Strike. It was a very tough game we knew coming in for Immortals, seeing a first versus the last seed, and you always have your work cut out for you. Maybe a little bit less pressure, but as a player, you don't think of it that way. You want to win. You want to get the victory, and we saw great play from both teams here, honestly. Envy, like you said, struggling at the end there once they were met with